Welcome to the Public Service Committee meeting here Tuesday, February 28th, 2023. It's a little after 6. Roll call, please.
Alderman Sherry Pickering.
Here.
Ethan Burt.
Present.
Eve Ludwig. Tricia Teague.
Present.
Robert Williams.
Present.
Darren York.
Present.
Chairman Rick Streebing.
Here.
6 present.
6 present, thank you. We have the approval of the minutes for 1/24 of 23. I'll need a motion and a second, please.
So moved. Second.
Is there any questions on those minutes? If not, all of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of agenda. We have a change. We're moving 10D and F to items of information. I'll need a motion and a second to approve the agenda as changed.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Puts us to item number 4, audience comments. Anybody
I
like?
don't have any cards.
Okay.
Anyone wish to speak?
No? Okay. And I have no comments neither. So puts us to approval of payrolls for 2/24 of 23. I'll need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any questions on the payrolls? If not, roll call, please.
Vice Chairman Pickering.
Yes.
Alderman Burt.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Streebing.
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes. Puts us to item number 7, approval of vouchers payable for 2/28 of 23. I'll need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any questions on the vouchers payables? Not, roll call, please.
Alderman Burt.
Yes.
Ludwig. Teague.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Streebing.
Yes.
6 yes.
Yes, okay. Puts us to item number 8, City Clerk's Report, Lisa Munson, items of information.
Thank you, Chairman. I wanted to let everyone know that the meeting agendas can now be found on the city's website, on the homepage. And if you go to the news, right next to the news is a tab for calendar. And we've been working on trying to get things worked out with that, and I think we've got everything pretty much figured out. So if you or a constituent just clicks on the calendar, it gives you the upcoming meetings, and then if you go to the full calendar, it shows past meetings and upcoming meetings, and we're going to try to put the minutes on the agenda at that place too. So it's a little bit easier for everyone to get to than to have to go through the other way under the government tab. Also, the Code of Ordinances has been updated on the city's website, and those have the ordinances up to last November, but they have included the ward redistricting that we just approved recently, so that's all updated. And you can find that on my webpage or also the I Want To tab. Is there any questions pertaining to how to get to the Code of Ordinances? And then I had sent an email out last week where you can view the resolutions and ordinances on the city website. Hopefully that was, everyone understood that, so, okay. And I just wanted to update everyone. We responded to just under 20 FOIA requests during the month of February. And I appreciate the purchase of the Introdyne software that we've used to search for emails. As many of the FOIAs, we've had some pretty large FOIA requests, and we're able to search emails much quicker with that software. We'll be sending out annual business license renewals in mid-March. And lastly, I wanted to publicly thank Deputy Clerk Rachel Hahn for doing a terrific job during my absence. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Ms. Munson? If not, thank you.
You're welcome.
Puts us number 9, Finance, Ashlyn Macy, the Comptroller. We have 9A, a resolution authorizing budget amendment to the fiscal year 2022 through 2023 Finance number 11 budget, Zavar sales tax contingency payment. I will make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on 9A?
Chairman, I'd just like to commend them on working on this. If you'll look at the top, there's a kind of a running total, and there's essentially almost $200,000 of taxes that wasn't previously collected that is now collected. And Comptroller, when does roughly our agreement end with them?
This will be the last payment on sales tax. This goes through 36 of 36 months, so we'll be able to keep 100% of the tax remitted to us moving forward for these entities.
So that'll be a good substantial additional revenue without us further taxing people. They were collecting it and keeping it, so.
No. Okay, thank you. If no other questions, roll call, please.
Alderman Teague,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig, Strebing.
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay, thank you. Puts us 9B. We have a resolution approving American Rescue Plan Fund 705 distribution to the Danville Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. I'll make,
C as well, Chairman.
and we'll take 9C as well, approving American Rescue Plan Fund 705 distribution to the Danville
The David
S. Palmer Arena. I'll make the motion to approve both these and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. Need a second, please.
Second.
Got any questions on 9B or C?
Yes.
Go ahead.
One question, well, I have a couple of questions. So first question that I have is, what is the normal revenue pre-COVID for hotel motel tax that we give to the arena?
Sure. So to come up with the amounts that were introduced in the original ARPA spending plan when we went through that a few months back, I took the amounts from 2018, 19, 20, 21, and 22, found what the average was for 18, 19, and 20, and then I took that average against their revenue for 21 and 22 and found the difference. For both entities, they only saw a dip in revenue during 2021. 2022, they had recovered. Fiscal year 22, so it would have been ending May 22. Okay. But we just found the difference there, rounded it to even nice numbers, and presented those for the council.
So this number is based on all that calculation?
Correct.
And then another question that I have, if anybody knows it, is whether or not they apply for relief grants that were available for entertainment venues.
I don't know the answer to that. The reason both of these entities were listed and thought of is because we as the city do remit a portion of our hotel motel tax to them continually, and during the early months of the pandemic, they did vocalize that those revenues were missed.
Yes.
So because it was a direct category under the ARPA, we thought that it would be a good thing to present that.
That's definitely understandable. I was just curious to know. I also know that the state had done some, I believe it was through DCEO, but I might be wrong about that.
Right.
But I know that the state had done some specific funds that were made available for entertainment venues, and I was wondering if they had applied, and if so,
Yeah.
how much they received as compared to this. Because it could be a minuscule amount, it could have been a large amount. So it's just one of those things that, are they getting the opportunity to be ahead? And if so, the public should know that. So that was why I asked the question.
Alderwoman, I believe you're absolutely right. It came from DECIO, and it was the shuttered venues grant. And I know that the Convention and Visitors Bureau is not eligible for that. However, the Palmer Arena, I believe, would have been, and I don't believe that they applied for it. But I will verify that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Those are all my questions.
Okay. Any other questions on 9B and C? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig, Teague,
Yes.
Strebing.
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay, thank you. Puts us to item 9D, items of information, the Risk Management Monthly Report and Personnel Monthly Report.
Okay, you should have both of those reports in your packet. I'd like to take any questions on those before I give my update, if you have any. Okay, so the finance department, being February, we just sent out our W-2s and 1095-Cs to all employees for last calendar year. So we're busy with that. Our grant manager, Kaylee Sanchez, who we promoted within, is really stepping into her role as grant manager. So we're very happy with how that's going. She actually drafted the ordinances that you saw this evening. So she's working on that. We have made another hire in the finance department. Last public services, I made an announcement of a billing and collection specialist. They were made another offer that's more in line with their past experience that we could not compete with, and so they decided to take that. And I've again hired a billing and collection specialist since then. We hired Rihanna Ollis. You may recognize her name. She was interning for the community relations division. She was volunteering her time. So we have decided to take her on, and she's now our full-time billing and collection specialist. So, all right, I think that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Puts us to item number 10, the fire. Aaron Marcotte, Fire Chief. We at 10A, we have a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement to participation in the Mutual Aid Box Alarm System, MABAS, Master Agreement 2023. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Do we have any questions on this, 10A? Not, roll call, please.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig, Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Strebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
Yes. Puts us at 10B, resolution authorizing the budget amendment to FY 2022 through 2023 for Fire Division 22 budget. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second.
Second.
Do you have any questions on 10B? Not, roll call, please.
Vice Chairman Pickering,
Yes.
Alderman Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig, Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Strebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes. Puts us at 10C, we have a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 100 custom Ferrara aerial truck, bid number 713, and she sent some paperwork out today, believe, on it, on your emails. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on 10C?
Chairman, just one note, it is a little bit more expensive than we budgeted for. So our goal is to go ahead with the purchase of this because we have an opportunity for a demo model, which basically has everything that our fire service wanted except for one small detail. It saves us several $100,000. And by demo, it doesn't mean that they've used it or showcased it even. It's just that we believe that what's happened is another company ordered it and then ended up not needing it. And so we're trying to take advantage of this while we can because we can get it here this summer instead of in 2 or more years. And again, at a substantial savings. That would mean that we have a little bit less money to purchase, ARPA money to purchase the other truck. Comptroller Massey and Chief Marcotte are working on that. We do have an opportunity to sell our old equipment, and if we are able to do so, we think we can gain at least half, if not more, of the difference needed so that we could then purchase the pumper. But we need to get that solidified before we move forward with the other purchases. Chief Ashland, is that a good? Okay. Yes, Alderman.
What's so specialized about this truck? Can somebody explain it?
What's different? It's just the aerial truck, so it's the larger 100-foot aerial ladder truck that you see. We man one of those per day. Nothing really special about it other than just the ladder would be the difference between that and a normal regular pumper, things like.
So Alderman, this was the one that has the huge ladder where we can get up into big buildings and or other entities if we need to help rescue people.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Not, roll call, please.
Alderman Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig, Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Strebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. Puts us to 10D.
Just an item of
Uh,
information.
we move that, I'm sorry. Okay, 10E, resolution approval to dispose of self-contained breathing apparatus, the SCBA's. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Any questions on this resolution? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig, Strebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, motion carries. Thank you. Puts us to 10G, items of information, and the monthly status report and the fire chief staff report. Under the items of information, I think we'll discuss the two items that we moved to this, so.
Chief, do you want to go to the pumper first?
Yep. So yeah, I can discuss the pumper. Like he said, they all bidded, or the bids are in. There's a spec sheet in the back. The one we select to be the best and the best bid is the same manufacturer as the aerial that we were receiving. So the specs there in the back. Again, we're just trying to work out the overage pay for, so that's why we didn't bring it this evening, whatever. So hopefully within the next week or so, we'll have it brought forward to use the ARPA money as well. That one will be most likely a 650-day wait before we actually take possession of that vehicle. And Lieutenant Jones then worked out to some like pay for upfront advances because it is ARPA money. If we pay for it upfront, we can get some substantial discount on the apparatus as well. So compared to what the original bid prices and things were. So.
Okay, so you want to tell us about the other item, staffing and adequate fire and emergency response grant?
Chairman, I'll start out that
Okay.
one if I may. So you all know that a couple of years ago, we had what's more commonly known as a SAFER grant. Essentially, it allows you to hire additional firefighters, and in the past, it's paid for a varying amount of the expenses that we incur as a result of hiring the firefighters. With the current round of SAFER applications, it will pay for 100% of their salary and benefits. So their salary, their pensions, their insurance, and all of those things. What we would have to pay for is their equipment and training, but we would have an opportunity, hopefully, like we've received nearly every year, and a shot at the MABUS grant next year, which would then reimburse us for the equipment that we purchase for these new hires. What I'll say to you is this: you all know I've been reluctant about a SAFER grant in the past because I thought that we should work on reducing minimum manage. Unfortunately, the council did not feel the same about that item. So what that means is that we're going to continue to have a lot of overtime for various reasons, but primarily as a result of minimum manning overages. If we are able to hire additional firefighters through this grant, I believe it's Chief Marcotte's belief that we can eliminate nearly all of our overtime. And I'll give him allow him to explain a little bit further what exactly we would be doing here.
Yep, and I included a kind of a highlight sheet about SAFER if you haven't heard about it before, and I also sent out an email about if you want to meet to discuss it in detail what causes the overtime in the fire department. It's really complicated to explain because all the different ways it can kind of happen and the ways that we can get ahead of it. So with this SAFER, like I said, it kind of jumps in and out. Sometimes it's 70% funded, sometimes it tiers down. The SAFER that was put out this year that we can apply for is 100% funded for 3 years, 3 full years of salaries for those firefighters. So with no matching funds from the city other than, we'll have to come up with the training money and things like that, which is normal course. But we ran some numbers. We currently still have 11 firefighters who are at or will be within the next few months at retirement age of 50. Doesn't mean they're going to leave today or tomorrow, but essentially the potential there for those guys to continue to leave over the next 3 years. We're also essentially 3 years away, 2.5 years away from contract negotiations so that we can really affect those things. And then in that same period, we'll have another 5 firefighters in this 3-year period also come into that 50 age. Now, I'm one of them, and I don't plan on leaving that time, but it just kind of gives you an indication that over the next 3 years, we'll continue to lease probably 3 to 4 every year, and that's not even counting people that might get hurt or something like that. So, SAFER will be looking for 6, and that would put 2 additional firefighters on each shift. We feel like that's the number that gives us the best overall protection against, when you look at the history of people being sick or people being off. It's very rarely we have any more than that off. The way the fire department works. So the fire department works is we just hired all these firefighters. We staffed at 15. Firefighters get 3 vacation slots and things like that, which makes 12 the minimum manning that we have to keep. So there's your 3 slots. Anything that happens outside of that, retirement, sick leave, causes your overtime. And the biggest one right now is people that retired and hasn't been replaced. So right now we hired all those firefighters, but it'll be towards the end of May or middle May before we can actually put them on shifts and actually where they can affect. So it's that long gap that kind of causes these long periods of overtime in there. So by having these firefighters here, we can have them be able to be moved. And by having the two, it gives me the ability to move them faster from shift to shift when a shift goes down. So if two people get sick or hurt on a shift, I can take those firefighters and move them over. The grant would allow me to do that so that we can head off the overtime faster instead of having these long periods to where we just don't get people replaced fast enough.
We believe that this could save us upwards of $700,000 a year for 3 years. But even if it only saves us $500,000 a year, that's $1.5 million of taxpayer money that we can use for other good things in our community. So I want to make it clear that we would also put as part of this, we would hope to negotiate with the union that it would be an understanding that these are not permanent positions, that we're not locking ourselves in to having 51, but that we would, this would be for the tenure of the grant like we did previously. And this would also, I think, give us time to assess too the impact of the casino and additional businesses on our fire service. If we see that we need more firefighters than we've already got, then if we're seeing that we don't need, then we would be able to have some time to lay off through attrition rather than actually, hopefully, laying people off. So.
And there's also a period, like in 3 years from now, you could reapply essentially for those same firefighters to retain. So, I mean, I included a little section on the back about there, sort of like some of the options that you could do in the future. You could retain all of them, you could retain half of them, you could retain, like you said, maybe the economic conditions are better, and you can just kind of evaluate then and evaluate at the time when we kind of redo the contract next time. So all those things are kind of coming together. And I think at that period we'll be close to being out of this sort of big retirement thing we've been going. That's the end of the line for all the people that have been here in that age group. So I think this is the best way to control that overtime until that time.
At this point, I've sworn in half of the firefighters, so at least half of them shouldn't be going anywhere for a long, long time. Alderwoman Hickory.
Well, I'd just like to recommend, I know when we went through this SAFER grant last time, we took 3 at a time, and we really went in and they really cut it down. They showed us exactly how we were saving and why we were saving, and I'd like to recommend anyone to go and talk to them. And maybe we could do this again, go in 3 at a time, and they could have a meeting with us because it really does, it helps you understand better the SAFER grant.
Thank you, Alderwoman.
Okay.
So the problem, the issue that we have is that this will come, it's due March 16th. And, of course, Chief brought this to my attention. We found out like the last week or so. So we're hustling to try to get to it. So we would need to receive your approval at the next city council meeting to apply for the grant. So, Chairman, if it be your pleasure and the pleasure of the committee, we would request that permission to bring it forward for consideration.
Oh, yeah, bring it.
One more point too, that those costs that we would have for training and getting gear for those guys. So like just last month you approved the AFG grant to pay for the ones we just hired. We would do the same thing next year too and try to get that reimbursement so that it would just be a year behind, that we just had to run a year behind from those. So we would apply for that same grant to get all that reimbursed and things like that at that same time. So even that portion of it could potentially be reduced or gone for the most part. And also on our list right now, we have 3 people that have all the requirements. We have Academy and EMT, so they're in that group. There'll be 3 of those that can go to work almost like as soon as we're ready. And
Which
if you did it and we got approved and they got approved, you're looking at like the next academy, the fall academy, which is also when we expect our guys to leave. So it comes together sort of in a good time. It wouldn't be right away. It'd be later this year that we bring them on.
All right, thank you. Let's look at the monthly status report and the fire chief staff report.
Yeah, I just tried to include some information for you, just some things we've been working on in the fire department. Just kind of ran through all the things we approved in January and February, some of the guys that left and guys that have been promoted. The people we hired's names are on there for you, just for you to kind of read through. If you have any questions, I can sure to answer. We are working on other cost-saving things in there. I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of insight into that process as we do it. So there's a little tidbit about the helmet changes and things like that we can affect where we can save cost. Personal protective gear's cost is rising pretty drastically, faster than we can. Some of our items are increasing, pretty quickly. So we're trying to address those now. We're examining the gloves we use, the equipment that we use, and see where we can make changes. So there's some of that information. February, we kind of focused on our training, bringing all those new guys in. We're trying to redo the whole probationary way we train them, include more stuff that's health and wellness for them, things for our community service type training for them. We didn't have much time with this group, but hopefully by the next group we'll have it down to where we like to bring them on with a certain amount of thing, give them 3 weeks training, get them to academy, get them back for 2 weeks, and they have a contractual obligation there that they have to be trained on before we can put them on the street. So the fastest we can get them on the street, working against Manning is the goal there. So, and that everybody across the board is trading sort of the same way. So we're doing that kind of stuff over there, which will also lead us into developing programs for our officers and other firefighters all the way through off that program. So another thing we're trying to do, we're pushing through our assistant chiefs and captains. All of them have signed up to take fire investigator classes, and hopefully we can get them into fire prevention classes we're trying to host. So that way, every day in Danville, we have someone on duty that can come and answer a question for a business owner or a small fire in the middle of the night. Those guys can do without bringing people back or having that sort of kind of uncommon thing. So that's one thing we're trying to do. So we started the first 2. The next 2, there's 3 of us going in June, July, and then we got some in the fall already signed up. So by the end of this year, we should have all our assistant chiefs, captains doing those sort of activities. So,
What I love about that is it allows us to better serve the public, but also save on overtime too. If we have people on each shift who are trained to do that role.
by contract, there's always got to be one of us on duty, one of them on duty. So that way there'll always be someone on duty that can answer either a business's question about a business code or something like that, or there's someone or the smaller fires and things like that. So that'll be nice. And then I just kind of included the year-to-date information on the calls and stuff like that for you. So we're, as of today, 553 calls, and we've had 7 structure fires and 8 last night. So I'll just keep that kind of going for you month to month. So.
Any questions for the chief on any of his reports? Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Puts us to item number 11, Human Relations. Ms. Sandra Finch, Administrator, items of information, and her monthly status report.
Good evening, everyone. Well, good evening. For the period of January 17th through February 20th, the office handled 23 complaints, which consisted of 3 police complaints, 8 employment complaints, 9 housing complaints, and 3 public accommodation complaints. Do you have any questions about the complaints? As you can see, you can look at the new complaints versus the old complaints.
Keep yourself busy, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
The biggest portion, Chairman, of outside of investigating complaints that a lot of people don't see is that Administrator Finch really helps us with resource direction and connection. So people are needing help with this or that or the other, and she helps connect them to those services. And it's something that probably isn't even technically part of the job description, but she does every day. That's a huge help to our citizens. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Okay, item number 12, Information Technology. Agno De Silva, Administrator, he's got the items of information, his monthly status report.
Thank you, Chairman. Earlier I emailed my monthly status report. I was wondering if you have any questions on that.
Anybody have any questions for Agno?
If not, I would like to give a couple of updates
Okay.
on the couple of upgrades that we're working on. Our Comcast fiber services contract is coming up for renewal in June. So I've been looking at some options since January to see what we got here in the city of Danville as far as fiber services go. And I would like to thank Sam for working with me on that as well. It's been always, working with Comcast has been a challenge for us. I mean, and he can vouch for that. But I've been talking to AT&T as well, and they have some advanced fiber services in town, and I've been negotiating with them as well. They also have a dedicated team for City of Danville, and believe it or not, when I talked to them about disconnecting our landlines because we moved away from landlines. So that project has concluded, and we no longer have any landlines with the City of Danville. It's all switched over to LTE, Verizon LTE. So we saved some money on that end. So at that point, they reached out to me and said they can offer some fiber services. So I'll bring the resolution over on March 28th. So we'll do some comparison and show some cost savings on long term with the advanced services that they offer. And another good news is they owe us money. Usually that doesn't happen. AT&T has some credits for parts lines that they owe us, so they're going to be sending us some refund checks for the parts lines. And that. Working with Sam on the Garfield Pool project for the technology. we'll have all that information when we get closer as far as that's concerned. Aaron has been working on some body cam upgrades, so he's been busy at the police department. So hopefully we'll get those up and running pretty soon. Other than that, I just would like to thank Aaron, Adam, Suhail, for all their hard work. And, a few weeks ago I was sick and they kind of helped me out quite a bit. So I really thank them for all their hard work and stuff. Next couple of weeks I'll be out of town. I'll be taking some advanced cyber forensics training for 6 days next week. And then taking a week off after that for my 50th birthday. Last but not the least, I would like to thank everyone for their support.
Thank you, Agnell. Anybody got any questions for Agnell? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Puts us to legal. James L. Simon, Corporation Counsel. 13A, we have an ordinance amending Danville City Code, Chapter 96, intoxicating liquors. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Have any questions on this ordinance? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig, Teague,
Yes.
Strebing,
Yes?
6 yes.
Okay, thank you. Puts us to items of information, the statistical report. Mr. Simon?
You all have our fiscal report for January, which is also year-to-date, calendar year-to-date, and all. If there are any questions, I can answer that. Want to let you know that our Assistant Corporation Counsel, Tim Palin, is working out very well. I'm very pleased at what he's been doing in the real estate area and city court and small claims court. When it comes to city court, he's, trying to get defendants towing the line. He is pursuing our approach to city court, especially with demos, and asking if defendants who are unable to take care of their properties and want to avoid the fines are willing to, assuming the city wants the properties, to turn the properties over to the city. And we've had a fair number of turnovers very recently because the mayor and Sam and Logan have advised that the city is interested in these properties. So that's working out very, very well. Hopefully mid-March, Becky, legal assistant, will return after her knee surgery, but she has been working very hard at home. So we're keeping the legal division moving along, and thank you all for your support and your questions.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Simon? Oh, yes, dear.
I don't know if Mr. Simon is the right person to answer the question, or police department, or who, but you brought up properties. If we see a property that is vacant and unsecured, who should we contact?
Contact the legal department,
Okay.
because we'll send out one of our inspectors, and if we have to, we'll ask Stephen Chrisman at Public Works, our building inspector, to join. And if we think there's a potential problem with entering the building, if need be, because it's booby-trapped, we had one situation with that, or squatters or whatever. The police department has been excellent in assisting us. So, short answer, legal, whoever the inspector is for that particular territory, we'll start with him. So we'll clearly need the address of the property.
Okay. There's one on my block, and it's been unsecured for a while.
Shoot me an email, address, and we'll get on it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Chairman, I'd just also like to thank, Karen. So whenever Mona is out, the legal assistants are my backup. As Jim just said, we have Becky out with knee surgery right now. So essentially, Karen is carrying the weight of her whole department and also helping me right now. So I just want to say a big shout out and thank you to Karen Walklaw for all the help that she's really been hustling to take care of things, and she stayed on top of it.
She's also been helping taking care of Becky by getting stuff to her, so Becky remains productive. I couldn't be prouder of my 2 legal assistants. They are phenomenal.
All right, thank you very much. Puts us to item number 14, Police. Chris Yates, Police Chief. We got items of information and January 2023 offense data.
Sent you the data for January. I always compare the 3 years prior, or 2 years prior to the current. And there's a couple things I wasn't too impressed with. Essentially, the ag bat. And we had some burglaries with some storage facilities that threw our numbers off. And then domestic battery was an unacceptable increase. We're hoping it's anomalies, and we can look into seeing what's, what's different or any concerns. We're continuing to make progress on our violent crimes outside of domestic battery, gun violence, particularly dealing with the number of weapons seized. That's going to directly impact it, as well as the people that we take into custody that are wanting to perform violence on someone else. A couple things to note. Did anybody have any questions on that before I move forward? Okay. I did turn in some year-end basic totals, but I'm not ready to present that yet because I need to get more stuff included. Hopefully I'll have that by April. We've got 5 in training right now, field training. I believe all of them are doing fine or will be doing fine. We have 2 of them that are in getting ready to go into shadow phase, so they'll be on their own if they successfully complete that, probably within a month or so. The other 3 are a little bit further behind because they went to a different academy. We have 4 at PTI right now in the academy. I believe they graduate end of April, which will be helpful. They'll be not ready for the street solo, but they'll be starting their training. And then we currently are testing. We've got around 6. We just had the physical agility testing and knocked a couple out. But we'll be bringing some more. I just sent down, I think, 5 or 6 names to investigations to start their background investigations on each one of them. And then we'll present that, and we'll probably be hiring. I have to look at the numbers again, but I think it's anywhere from 3 to 4 to get to full strength, and we'll be at 70 in May. Yeah, it's tough. But no, I think we're in good shape. That'll be the first time we've been at 70 since probably 1997 or 98. Wow. And we were only there for a short time, and then we started lowering our numbers. So yeah, that's exciting. And then we'll be able to get a lot of other initiatives started, because essentially we've got, I mean, if you think about it, we've got 9 in training right now at different various levels of training. That's quite a task, and if I could thank the field training officers who are constantly doing this and going from one officer to another to another pretty much year round. They've done a wonderful job, and yeah, we're still plugging away. Any questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Oh, one last thing. Body-worn cameras. Agno mentioned it real quick. I believe we should have. Now, we started out with the body-worn cameras in 2020, September of 2020. They were good cameras, but I think they were timed out on their warranty. As soon as they hit the warranty mark, they were like, I don't know if they were pre-programmed or what. But we went with a much more durable and newer model, or better model. And we should have those up and running within next week or so.
Okay, thank you. Puts us to item 15, Public Works, Carl Carpenter is Director. We have 15A, a resolution awarding professional service agreement for HVAC replacement at the Public Works facility. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
So move. Second.
Any questions on this resolution? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Byrd,
Yes.
Ludwig, Teague,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Strebe.
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Puts us to 15B, items of information. Carl, you got anything for us?
If you haven't heard, today was Steve Lane's actual last day of employment with the city. He retired after 25 years. So if anyone on this committee has any issues with parks or buildings in the real near future, just call myself or Dave Rui. We do have an individual starting as his replacement next week. Individual's name is Josiah or Joe Claypool, and he's coming to us from Sunset Funeral Home. He took care of all of their properties, both in Danville and everywhere else they have them. Okay, thank you.
And we will be having, we will be officially recognizing Steve at the next city council meeting, so.
Okay. Thank
Do
you.
you all have any mementos or tokens you want to bring?
Thank you, Chief. Or Carl, I'm sorry. Thank you. Puts us number 16, closed session. I don't think we have any need for that tonight. Puts us item number 17, items of information. Anybody have anything for the good of cause?
Chairman, just remind everyone, Friday night is Danville's Got Talent. It's going to be fun. We have a really diverse and talented group of people, and I think you all will enjoy it. Tickets, I think, were maybe 75 or 80% sold already, so if you don't have your tickets yet, I would encourage you to buy them because you may not be able to get them at the door.
Well, I've been hearing it, been plugged on the radio most of the day, so. Yeah. All right, thank you. Puts us to item number 18. I think we've taken care of everything that was on the agenda, so it's adjournment. I'll need a motion in a second.
So move.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
What is the figure that you, after we figured the average for the plumber?
I got looking all this down, we're gonna be here all night.
Hopefully most of it is not controversial.
Too many numbers in my head.